here. So we're going to talk about today, guys, we're going to talk about physical and mental preparedness. Um, this is a huge topic. It's very, very important. I personally think it's kind of a multi-layered approach. It's not just, oh, do this, do that. There's steps to it. And I think my company follows this pretty much to the T. And I follow this pretty much to the T. But we'll talk about it in a little bit here, guys. All right, cool. So, guys, we're going to talk about mental and physical preparedness, kind of my philosophy on it. First of all, there's three steps to it, right? There is the actual physical fitness training, essentially subcategories to the physical and mental preparedness, but the physical preparedness prepares you mentally, right? So first of all, we want to talk about fitness, all right? Fitness is your absolute base for everything. If you're not fit, if you're not in shape, you can't run, you can't lift, guess what? That's going to affect you mentally, because in the back of your mind, you're going to be like, shit, if I have to run, if I have to fight, I'm going to be in big trouble. So the fitness part is your biggest part, and that's what, and just, fitness is not always fun, right? So you got to go do lift, you got to run, that pushes you mentally as well. That gets you in the mindset of just training and training regularly, and dealing with that grind and dealing with that difficulty on a daily basis, and essentially making it a no big deal. And it's really just your base more than anything. It sets you up to be able to shoot better. It sets you up to be able to fight better. So like I said, if the fitness is not there, the rest is not going to be there mentally or physically. So make sure to invest in your fitness first and foremost, and in all types of fitness. Being super bulky is not really what I would consider a good type of fitness for fighting, for self-defense. You got to have the balance of everything. So you got to have good cardio, you got to be able to lift, you got to be flexible so you don't injure yourself, you got to be agile, you got to have speed, you got to have power. So all those aspects of fitness, you got to work on it. You can't just rely on just being strong. We're just being really flexible. You got to have the balance of everything. It's always balance. Okay. Kind of our next level of physical preparedness is martial arts or combat arts, or whatever you want to call it, whether it be Krav Maga or Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or Muay Thai or Judo, whatever your preference is. Quite honestly, it doesn't really matter. Of course, if you're training just for self-defense, probably Krav Maga is going to be your best choice, followed by Muay Thai and BJJ. But that's kind of your next step. You got to have that mental mindset of dealing with someone that's trying to fight with you. So great, you got the fitness down. Now start investing in your fighting skills, and that's once again, that's going to tie back to the mental, giving you that confidence to be able to deal with that situation. So the first time someone is choking you is not on the street, it's in the gym. The first time someone's throwing a punch at you, it's not in the street, it's in the gym. So you're getting to experience all these things, and you're callousing your mind to that. And of course, you're learning how to defend against it and how to fight back. So that's kind of a big factor as well that you want to consider and think about, right? And if you're training martial arts, you best be sparring at some point. Obviously, I don't recommend this as a beginner level student. It's probably not the best. More gonna probably just injure you and frustrate you more than anything. But you got to build up to that. You got your striking down, you got your defenses down, you've been training for a few months. It's time to try to hit each other, right? It's time to put on those gloves, put on that headgear, put on that mouth guard, and start sparring and start training. And sparring, more than the physical game, obviously, having good technique, having a good skill set helps, but I always consider like a mental game. I got to be mentally more aggressive, more there than my opponent. I got to hit them before they hit me. My best defense is going to be an offense. So that's kind of that mental prep. Of course, it ties back to avoiding fights in the first place. So having that confidence, having that ability where you don't need to prove yourself, having that confidence to where if someone does attack you, you know what to do, and you just try to get to your gun and shoot that person where it may be illegal. So That's also going to build situational awareness for you. It's going to build sharpness for you. So those are things that you want to consider, right? So we got the fitness base. On top of that, we're going to put the martial arts, or some type of combative system, and it's going to teach you also to fight under stress, guys. So, and deal with stress, right? There's nothing more stressful than someone trying to choke you or punch you in the face, or kick you in the face for that matter, or kick you while you're on the ground. So you got to take that martial arts training as setting you up for that ultimate situation. Cool. And of course, your last thing is firearms. If you do ever decide to carry a firearm, you best be training. You best be training regularly, and then adding that stress level to it as well. It's a huge responsibility. It's something that if you mess up, you will pay for it for the rest of your life, more so than anything else. So you got to make sure that you seek out the proper training, that you know how to draw your gun properly, you know how to handle your gun safely, you know how to, the four basic rules of firearm safety. You know all those things. You know how to maintain your gun. You understand how your gun functions. And of course, train. As far as I'm concerned, if you carry a gun, you better be having a range session once every 2 weeks to a month. That's the bare minimum. As far as I'm concerned, 200 to 300 rounds. It's just one of those skills that are extremely perishable. And if you don't invest in it, it's just going to go away. And if you think that after 3 months of not doing anything, you're going to be able to deal with stress and shoot at that target and put it down aggressively and not just be completely off your game, you're lying to yourself. So you got to go train out there, and you got to invest that time in that training. All right. With that being said, I understand that firearms training is expensive. So let's go back to our base. Fitness doesn't cost you anything to train. You can literally train in a 2x1 meter space and get a great workout for yourself. Martial arts, yes, it's a little bit of a higher barrier to entry, but still it's very much affordable. I'm sure there's plenty of places that don't charge crazy rates, that you can go out and train and enjoy yourself and get a good amount of training in. So invest in that stuff, guys. Invest in your training, and don't be cheap on those bases, right? So we talk about fitness and martial arts is kind of our base. Fitness is here. On top of that, we put the martial arts. And of course, guys, firearms is our last resort. One more thing that I want to mention, I didn't write this down in my notes, but I just remember this as well. Of course, you need to have basic trauma training, guys. And this really takes nothing out of your time to learn. This is a day course. You can learn basic tourniqueting, basic bandaging, basic rescuing techniques, and just basic things to know for trauma care. And these things, once again, are very cheap, take very little of your time, and prepare you. But back to our fitness, Krav, and shooting. There's a lot of people that invest a lot of their time in shooting, but they don't realize that they're much likelier to die of heart disease and obesity and all the things that are associated with it. So invest in your fitness, invest in your physical abilities, invest in your health more than you invest in anything else. And I can tell you for myself, that's what I do. I spend my time fitness training more than I do training jiu-jitsu, more than I do training Krav Maga, more than I train shooting. For sure, shooting is just extremely expensive. So invest in your health, invest in your fitness first and foremost, and everything else will benefit from that. Just be aware of that. One more thing people ask me to talk about is a little bit of the EDC. As far as I'm concerned with my EDC, the minimum is, of course, a firearm, a flashlight, and a knife. The knife is not necessarily for self-defense. I don't really think about using my knife for self-defense. I think of it more as a tool. Opening my Amazon packages, cutting things open, getting out of things like that. That's where I think about it. Flashlight, once again, super useful. You drop things in the dark. You want to check out an area. You want to pick up your dog shit. All those things, your light is going to come in super useful. So things to remember. And I always have a tourniquet and a bandage with, usually in my vehicle with me, or in my backpack with me if I'm going somewhere. It's kind of harder to carry it. And once again, if you take a trauma class, you learn that you can make a tourniquet out of anything, basically. A shirt and a stick, and you got a tourniquet. So those are things that you want to consider and think about for your EDC. Of course, make sure that you take some training and you know how to use all these items. Whether it's your firearm, how to use it properly, or your flashlight, how to use it properly for self-defense, or that tourniquet, or that bandage, or what have we. But you have to be practical as well, guys. So you can't just carry everything. And I've met those people that carry around 3 knives, 4 tourniquets, and it's not practical. It's not comfortable. And in the end, you're going to stop doing it anyway. So be practical, be minimalist, bring what you need, only what you need. You know, if you're going down the street, a block to go to the convenience store and come back, probably don't need to bring a kit with you. So think about these things, guys. Be practical, be smart. Above all, train, invest in your fitness, followed by your martial arts training, followed by firearms. You're more likely to die from heart disease than you ever will of getting shot. So invest in your fitness, invest in a good diet, invest in your health. Guys, that's all I have for you. Just a couple quick announcements. I have a couple courses coming up in June. Combat pistol ground fighting, followed by combat rifle. Space is limited, so don't forget to sign up. We will reconvene our schedule back in August, because I'm going on a little vacation, so I'll be gone. We do have a training day in July, just a quick thing for our alumni to come out and train and get a little bit of a refresher in. And that's it, guys. If you have any questions, shoot me a DM, shoot me an email, and I'll see you guys at the range, hopefully. Bye.